Okay. Here we go. Previously, our team of heroes had continued down the underground passageway through several superficial archways. The construction and stones eventually gave way to natural limestone, which formed a passageway that followed the team's descent deeper into the earth. Eventually, it changed to a thick, glistening gray, which appeared to undulate and move away from the heat of the torches. The tunnel then narrowed, forcing the group to walk single file, with a wet squelching sound just barely audible all around them. At the back of the group, Sister Cavernsfall, who had previously been deceased, struck unexpectedly with a wickedly barbed hammer. Upon slaying her, her eyes rolled up as her form began to shift, becoming a duplicate of Mavli. Afterwards, the team continued quickly down the path through the ooze-infested tunnel for over an hour without slowing. Weak, exhausted, covered in sweat, the adrenaline wore off well after the walls around them were no longer alive and in motion with gelatinous hunger. Gradually, the chill of the icy passage warmed to an oppressive humid decay, which further unsettled the team, sweat visible on their garbs, stinging their eyes, and loosening their grip on dying torches. Over the next hour of travel, the team managed to catch their breath and became acutely aware of dim blues and greens in the distance. And then they came upon an opening ahead that led into a vast chamber, well lit by the faint colored light. The bruised and sweating team slowly emerged from the hollow, seemingly set within a large white leafless tree, located in the middle of what appeared to be a great forest. The ground underfoot was grassy, and the crisp sense of autumn permeated the air, defying logic as they very clearly must have been underground. Continuing along the path left by the children, the group was surprised by a shape dropping from the branches above with a sharp crack. The small figure of a man, a gnome, with a misshapen face grinning from ear to ear at eye level. The gnome had been mutilated, its legs cut off, its arms broken backwards and decaying, one of its two eyes missing, and hanging suspended by its neck. There was also a small scrap of leather affixed to the gnome's chest by a dagger, which read, "A trial of patience awaits you yet. Do you seek him?" After another hour or so of walking through the forest, three of the group decided to leave the path, and the shadows began to dance all around them as the air became heavy with the smell of mildew and fresh dirt. Just beyond the edge of the forest, they heard a clicking. The sound suddenly stopped, and they caught a glimpse of cat-like eyes in the distance. 5 pale yellow eyes, one of which bisected, looked up to stare back at them. A twisted, chitinous monstrosity began to stretch its body and rise, staring at them with its soulless yet penetrating eyes. Its mouth opened, dropping a maggot-ridden piece of flesh as it emits a guttural howl and leapt toward them. So the three of you
move back quickly.
I'm sorry?
Move back quickly.
Poking it back to the trail, if possible.
So as you turn around.
No, Sue doesn't turn around. She walks backwards.
Okay. Those of you who do turn around, if anybody turns around, are all three of you just walking backwards?
I thought we would be facing the eyes.
Yep, that's what I assumed.
So why would I turn around?
Walk backwards means you'll step on stuff and maybe bump into something.
Oh, okay. Got it. Like, wait. Sorry. I guess I would cautiously walk backwards. Yes.
No,
Okay.
noticing Sudi and Lee doing the same, or walking backwards, I'll do the same.
Or running backwards.
Okay.
Yeah, just
As you begin to run backwards,
I'm not running. No. Is everyone else running? Am I the only one not running?
like speed walking.
Yeah, speed walking.
I would be like crouching down to the ground, like trudging backwards. Or, leave.
okay. You speed walk / run / quickly move without looking where you're going. I need all three of you to make dexterity saving throws for me.
Ooh. Ah,
Oh,
10.
11.
6.
10, 11, and 6.
Wow.
No. Great start.
This is amazing. Okay, so
We done
In-
goofed.
in your surprise, forgetting that as you stepped off of the path, you had to cross over a fallen tree branch. And in your surprise, as you're backing up, you forgot it was there. And all three of you trip and fall, landing prone on the ground.
No, great start.
On our backs, right?
I need you three to roll initiative for me. The rest of you, as you're walking along and you see the three members of your group deviate off of the path, you glance at them as they leave the path, look back to where you're walking, and then glance back as you cease to hear them and realize they're no longer there.
I don't think we kept walking. I thought we stopped.
Yeah, I think
Well, Quinn couldn't move anymore. She's asleep.
I
Wynn
feel
tried
like,
to keep walking and was told that we were stopping.
yeah, I would have.
Okay.
I don't think I would have looked away.
Right. So if you continued looking, you would have seen them go into off of the path area, so
Yeah.
into the forest, and you would have seen them fade from existence.
Oh,
Not like an instantaneous blink,
yeah.
but like very quickly their forms would have kind of dissolved. Okay, so let me get some initiative rolls.
And
There was
17.
22 last roll.
22,
19.
the 22.
17 for Sudi.
Okay. And what is this number? Okay, great. So Lee is at the top.
Right. And how much distance is between me and Googly Eyes?
At this point, it's about 40 feet.
Okay. And can I see the outline of the body and tell if it is looking like it's about to run after us or what its body language is?
It absolutely looks like it's aggressive.
Okay.
In fact, I will send you a picture.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Please. Hmm.
It is
Whoa.
in game lore.
That's a scary monster.
Oh man, that is not small.
That's a lot of teeth.
It's not small. No, no, no.
Hope that one of 5 eyes is blind.
That's the bisected one. Yeah.
Oh right. I forgot that detail. Well, I'm gonna use half of my movement to not be prone anymore.
Okay.
And then I am going to, who is closest next to me?
That is up to you guys.
You could say you're in the middle. Since you were the one meeting us.
Sure. Well, yeah. Okay, so and then I'm going to use...
Let's say Sudi's to your right and Edie's to your left.
I haven't used help actions too much, but I assume I can use a help action, yeah, to help Sudi stand up. Or no, gains advantage on the next ability check.
Right. So standing up that's not an ability check. That's just movement.
Is it? Can I pull someone up as my action?
You can, and that will allow them to use their full movement.
Okay. I would like to pull up Sudi as my action.
Okay. Great.
And then can't do anything else. Really, I'm gonna just ready myself and brace my sword. Lee will do that and complete my action there.
Okay. Next we have Edie.
Cool. I'm going to stand up, use half my movement, and I'll just look first to Sudi and Lee. Are you two looking like you want to fight this thing off or get out of dodge?
Get out of dodge while I look in the eyes of Lee.
And
Out of dodge? We want to dodge and get.
well, dodging that thing for sure. And if they're trying to leave, then I'll try to get some distance between me and this thing.
Okay.
I'll call out to them and just say, we made a mistake. We need to get back.
As you quickly glance back in the direction of the rest of the group, you see that there is now a thick wall of fog that seems to superimpose itself between you and where you came from.
Can I still see the other group okay? Like
You cannot.
besides
They
the
are
fog?
completely obscured. You cannot see the path.
That's where I last remember the path being, so I'm gonna start making my way to that direction, still facing that beast, and definitely waiting on Sudi and Lee. I don't want to leave them behind.
Well, Sudi glances at the monster and at you pausing in movement and yells, "Go!"
All right, if I'll book it then. I'll just run
Okay.
back to
Are
wherever
you going to
the
take the dash action then?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the. I'm gonna use my action to dash.
Okay. Dashing 50 feet away from this creature. Sudi.
She'll follow, but can she take Lee with her in some way?
So yeah, so this is weird. When you basically when you're pulling somebody, it essentially uses half your movement. So you could dash and move your full movement, except that you're pulling her, and so your movement is halved. So you're essentially
Well,
moving.
she pulled me up, so I still have my full movement.
Right. But if you're pulling her, your movement is then halved, but you pull her with you.
And if I dash, it's doubled, right?
Right. So you're essentially moving your normal movement speed without dashing.
Okay, Sudi's gonna do that.
Okay, cool.
He's on board with this.
Cool. Okay. Behind you, you hear the insect-like skittering of massive chitinous claws digging into the soft soil of the woods. as it smashes through the underbrush coming towards you. And you hear the as it rushes towards you through the underbrush. And let's see if it has enough movement to catch you.
Nope. Definitely not.
Oh, okay. So I think this creature is fairly intelligent. Realizing that you are running faster than it begins to burrow. It kind of like dives into the ground and starts sending dirt and soil in all directions as it digs down in the ground beneath you. Lee.
How much is Edie's movement?
25 feet.
Edie is ahead of both of you.
By 50, and then we probably move. So probably about 20 feet ahead of us, kind of thing, roughly.
Roughly, yeah. She did use half of her normal movement to stand up.
Are we able to see Edie?
Edie would not have gone off
That's a good
too
point.
far without you guys, and definitely would not be leaving you guys straight up behind.
Yeah, so I think Edie is running into the fog. And so those of you who she's passing, you can see that she's going thicker into the fog and her form is becoming obscured.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and so I would be using the dash action, but also taking Sudi with me and then having my speed to 15 feet from 30.
So
Is that right?
yeah, it would half your movement, and you were dashing, so it's pulling you, or so it's reducing your dash to half as well. So basically you're getting your regular movement.
Okay, I'm gonna not dash. Well, so okay, how does that do? If I'm not taking the dash action and I'm running at my normal speed and also taking Sudi with me, does that use up my action if I'm not dashing, or is that just something I do while running?
If you're not dashing, yeah, you would move 15 feet basically.
With Sudi?
Yeah.
Also,
We'll call that an interact with object. You're basically running while holding on to Sudi.
and remind me who has a sword, or sorry, not a sword, a shield. Sudi, you're holding it?
Edie has it.
Edie has a shield.
Okay.
Do you need the shield for something?
Maybe.
If you call out, Edie should still be able to hear you.
Yeah, I'm gonna I guess I will use my dash action so we can catch up to Edie fully, and I'm gonna take Sudi with me. That would give me 30 feet, but I'm not going ahead of Lee's not going ahead of Edie, we're just catching up to Edie. And as I run over there, I'm saying, Edie, may I borrow your shield? In kind of a desperate, spooked voice.
Here, take it, and then as soon as possible, I'll try to
Yep,
get
you're up next. So
how close is Lee to me?
We're like right next to you. Unless something
she's-
weird happened.
yeah, they're a little bit behind you, but they're approaching you. Yeah.
I'll get to Lee, give her the shield. Say, here. Whatever you're planning, I hope it works.
Okay. Are you taking any action, bonus action?
Would it be possible to action dash but hold my action so I can at least like run with the rest of the to still keep up with Lee and
Yep.
Sudi?
Yep, you can hold a dash action. Yeah.
So I'll hold the dash action just so I can keep pace with when I run,
Okay.
I'll keep pace with Lee and Sudi.
Yeah, great. Cool.
Don't
Sudi?
humans have a faster speed than halflings?
They do. That's correct. You're up, Sudi.
Oh. Running.
Okay, just running, dashing, or pulling.
Well, the three of us are just running together at this point, right?
Okay, great. Great. In that case, as you continue running, you glance behind you and you see the ground is becoming disturbed behind you. And this disturbance in the ground appears to be gaining on you. And before long, the ground beneath your feet becomes unstable.
Do we
Becomes
notice
more
that we've been
difficult.
running back more than it took us to get here?
Yes, I think you would probably notice that. Yeah.
Well, when she notices that, Sudi spins around.
Okay. The ground at your feet has now become unstable and you can feel it vibrating. Lee.
Oh, are both of these shields the same in D&D Beyond?
Yes, the shields are identical.
Okay, so it doesn't matter which one.
I should mention, when Sudi runs, her feet go in and out motion, like she's jumping side to side.
Okay.
Okay. So attuning to something, does that take an action or an hour? I can't remember which.
It takes an hour.
Okay, so I'm not gonna do that.
Basically a short rest.
Does dashing reduce your stability at all when you're running? I don't think it
Nope.
does, right?
Nope.
Okay, then I will continue to dash. Sudi, you're ahead of me now, right?
Yeah, except she just turned
Really
around.
stopped. Yeah.
Okay, Lee's gonna yell out, "Keep going," and then she'll dash.
The
But
path should be there. She points more toward you.
oh wait, sorry, you stopped or?
Yeah, Sudi stopped and she called, "The path should be there." And she points back around where you are.
Okay, sorry, I was getting distracted by the shield. In D&D Beyond. Well, then I'm gonna dash over to Edie with Sudi, dragging you along, and then I'm gonna, I guess, turn around towards wherever I hear sound, and just brace for what comes next with wielding the sword and the shield at ready.
Okay. Are you readying an action? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, what I'm trying to do is use my protection fighting style to impose disadvantage on the attack roll, and I have to use my reaction to do
Yes. Yes. Okay. So that's a reaction. So anytime during the opponent's turn, when they attack somebody else, you can use that if you haven't used your reaction.
Okay.
So it doesn't require any preparation on your part.
Sorry, I'd have to read about this to remember. But if I'm ready in action, can I ready like a defensive action, like getting ready to defend or block, or just get? Well, how would that work? I'm less familiar with that with melee. I don't know what to do with that.
If remind me, you're not a battle master, are you?
That's the type.
Yeah.
What was I?
Because I think that's a battle master thing that they can ready a parry.
What about dodge? That's a reaction, right?
Yes, you can actually no, that's an action. You can use the action dodge, and it basically imposes disadvantage on enemies trying to hit you.
Okay, I will do that. Yes.
Yeah, so that's the dodge action.
Yes.
Okay.
That I will leave.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, Edie. You see Sudi and Lee have both stopped.
What are y'all doing? Let's outrun this thing. Come on.
We're going to the path, and the path is not here.
What? If we keep going, it should show up now. Let's move.
I yell out for the group. Where is everyone? We're being attacked. As loudly as Lee can yell.
Yeah.
You hear
I'll follow
you
suit,
hear
yell
nothing
out.
but the grinding of stone beneath you.
I'll just yell, help!
Okay.
Quinn! Manly Quinn, notice someone help!
Are you taking an action?
I'm not gonna move and leave Lee and Sudi behind, so I'll stop. I'll hold my warhammer just in case. Definitely kind of rattled and
Okay. Readying your
Yeah.
warhammer?
yeah, I'm gonna hold my action and ready in action of something comes up, this thing comes up or anything like that. I'm gonna take a swipe or take a whack at it.
Okay. Okay. On the creature's turn.
Oh, the creature goes before Sudi?
Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So something is coming under the ground, it seems?
Definitely.
Okay, Sudi attacks that. The ground.
Ground?
Yes.
Okay. I will not make you roll. You hit the ground, and in typical hitting the ground fashion, it kind of chunks, and you hear like a grinding as your blade hits, like stone and wood and foliage.
Well, she braces herself and
Okay.
she tells the others with alarm, we're being attacked by the spider of Ferrati, and there is no exit.
Okay. And on the creature's turn, it is going to burst out from beneath you. So I need all three of you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Mine would still be with advantage because I can see it bursting from under us.
Saving throws are not an advantage.
Okay, right, saving. Okay. Well. Saving throw. Is it attacking?
Currently, it is bursting out of the ground from beneath you.
Okay.
This is a saving throw to maintain your balance.
Okay. 18 on my end.
Okay,
8 for
18. Lee manages to maintain her footing and does not fall down. Sudi, on the other hand, loses her balance and gets knocked prone. And
6. I
6.
assume Edie does as well.
Okay, yeah. So Sudi and Edie both get knocked off their feet as this hulking chitinous creature with massive mandibles and huge claws rises out of the ground from beneath you, sending shattered stone flying in all directions. Those of you with held actions, held attacks, can take those attacks now.
I'm gonna go for it then. I was
Okay.
hoping it was a hammer weapon.
Are they both prone now?
They are both prone, yes.
Boy, that was a natural 20, so a 24
Okay.
to hit.
Great, natural 20. Roll me a percentile and we'll check the critical hit table. Juliana, you have a question?
82. Wait, no. That
Epic.
is that 82? No, 82.
80. Oh, that's good. 82. Is prepared counter. The first time in the next minute when you would be hit by an attack or fail a saving throw, that attack fails and you exceed instead on the saving throw. So
Sweet.
keep that in mind and go ahead and roll your damage.
Another 2. Let me get back to the so that was a 5 plus 7, so 12 damage.
All right, 12 points of damage as Edie slams her hammer into the chitinous exoskeleton of this creature. And you see a portion of it crack and your hammer indents just a little as you pull it out and prepare your next attack. Okay, and did Sudi also have an
She attacked the ground.
Right, okay,
Oh.
right, you're right. Okay, so as it comes out and Edie smacks it with her hammer, it then immediately looks at the direction that it got hit and it lashes out with some of its mandibles to attack at Edie 3 times.
And Lee also reacts to that with protection and imposes disadvantage on the attack roll. So would that just be the first attack roll or all
That
of
would
it?
be the first attack roll, yep.
Well, there's that at least.
Right, first one is at disadvantage. That's good because I rolled a nat 20 and then a 14.
That just hits. Without the shield, my AC is 14.
Okay, so the first one is going to hit. Let's see if the second one hits. That is a 13 plus 8. So that's going to hit.
Tried.
And a 16 plus 8. So you get hit 3 times. And you're prone, by the way. So those were at advantage.
Right.
So still no critical hit. So as it rises up out of the ground and knocks Edie and Sudi down to the ground, and then Edie smacks it with its hammer, it turns its massive head towards Edie and thrusts 2 of its claws at her and then bites at her. All 3 of these attacks striking her for 9 piercing, and 14 piercing.
9.
Oh,
Oh no. Down.
Are you down? Okay.
That was my entire health pool.
You have a barbarian second wind thing, anything?
That's a
Second
fighter.
wind is
thing.
fighter.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a fighter thing.
And
Okay.
I hadn't raged yet too, so none of that was at half damage.
Yeah. As the creature attacks Edie and it impales her twice with its claws and takes a huge chunk out of her, then it vanishes into the mists. And the three of you find yourself sitting at the opening of a white leafless tree. And ahead of you, you see a gnome hanging by its neck. The rest of you see members of your party go off into the woods and vanish.
Well, we've been busy in chat, Z.
Yeah, we've been RPing in chat.
I can't read chat, so summarize for me.
We're making ropes and connecting them to people, and 2 of us are staying behind and 2 are going in, I think is the plan.
So you start tying ropes together?
Yeah, so that we can pull them back.
Okay. How long do you think that would take? Give me a rough estimate.
I'd say we would, but between us talking and debating, I would say it would take 3 to 5 minutes minimum.
I would say maybe like on the quicker side than that though.
No.
I think like 3 minimum.
Okay, I'll accept 3 minutes. We'll say 3 minutes. Okay.
How long have our friends been gone?
3 minutes. Yep.
Okay. So Nona's been pushing to follow them. And she has her shield out. And she takes oh gosh, what do I have in my inventory? Hold on. She takes her oh gosh. A crowbar and sticks it halfway through where they disappeared and holds it for like a split second.
So you're leaving the trail and holding out a crowbar?
Yeah.
There's a rope tied around her waist.
With the rope tied around my waist.
And Wit is holding the other end.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How far off the trail to where they disappeared?
So the crowbar is going to be at where they disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be an arm's length away from that.
Okay. As you step off the path, immediately a thick mist begins to form around you.
Okay,
And
I just
each
want the crowbar in the mist.
As you step off the path, the mist begins to form.
Okay, well, I'll step back off the path, or back onto the path. Because that's terrifying.
Yeah, so
and
you
I
took one step off the path and then stepped back on.
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole forest changed.
Just that area, just that side of the.
Okay, well, she's exaggerating. And so she sets the crowbar down halfway on the path and halfway off the path.
The crowbar sits on the ground.
Okay, so like half of it isn't just disappearing.
No.
What did we see when she stepped off the path?
You saw the mist begin to collect.
Oh, we did see the mist. Okay.
Yeah, you did see the mist.
Last time we did not see mist.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I guess I'll go in and look around. All right, so she puts her crowbar back. She has her hammer and her shield, and it's lit.
Make
Hmm.
make a perception check. All three of you.
4, I think.
4.
Well, is Quinn still
Four of
asleep?
you.
I
I
think
didn't fall
she's up
asleep.
by now. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Is Quinn asleep?
Quinn is not asleep.
Wood got a 15.
Okay.
Nona only got an 18.
18.
15.
15. Okay. With an 18, you notice that it was kind of like an off glance, like in the corner of your eye, but as you were watching, as Nona goes into the mist, in the corner of your eye, you see kind of a slight glow. And you're not sure exactly where it is, but it's kind of off in this direction, kind of where Mavly's standing.
Mavly got a 21.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I'm specifically not telling this to Mavly. This is for the person who rolled an 18.
Sorry. I didn't know that it was said. My bad. Okay. Can I look at it directly?
Back on the trail, you look towards Mavly. You don't see the glow.
Okay. So I am going back off the path because I need to find the friends.
Okay.
The friends. So I have rope tied to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going up the path.
Okay. Which direction are you looking? Are you looking out? Are you looking back towards the group? Describe to me how Nona goes about doing this.
She steps in, it like closes in, she steps back in, as she's noticing I assume that the glow might come back when she steps in, so she's looking to see if it comes back.
So you're looking towards Mavly?
As soon as, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then but as like she's looking and then looking forward, so like it's another glance.
Okay. As you do so, hang on, I'm writing something real quick. Okay, as you do so, immediately the fog starts moving in rather rapidly. You spot on the side, kind of towards the back on Mavly's neck, it appears that there is what looks like a brand.
Ow!
Is Mavly coming with me?
No.
Okay. So I can still see Mavly?
Yeah, you can see Mavly.
Okay.
I mean, your vision is quickly becoming obscured with the encroaching fog.
Okay. That's a problem for later. So now she's gonna look directly forward.
Okay.
To see if is there anybody there?
You see the fog getting thicker. The trees start to become diffused, difficult to see. And before too long, all that you can see is the thick mist.
Anything change with the rope on our end?
Nope.
I'd like to imagine that it's like being kept taut and then being let out at a certain, like as I go.
Yes,
Okay.
no, I just want to make sure I didn't go slack because I didn't let you or.
Sure. Yeah. Keeping it taut. Okay. You continue going.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm also looking where I'm stepping
Yeah.
because I
It's
have the
difficult to see
shield
the
lit
ground.
up. Yeah, I have the shield lit up,
No.
which actually probably
Can you still hear me?
The light of the shield is making it. The light
Worse.
of the shield is making it worse.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
why she's now looking at the ground.
Okay. As you continue walking, you take a step.
No.
You take
Can you
another
still hear
step.
me? How about now? Can you hear me now?
And you can hear Mavli shouting back at you. You take another step, and then another.
I don't
And
think she
another.
can hear me. She's not saying anything. Nona's normally not this. No.
And the rope goes slack.
Well, time to move forward.
All right.
I mean, like forward towards Nona or forward on the path
On the path for the children.
for the children. I'm gonna like turn around and look back where we came from and look forward and then look at Wid and then look at Quinn. 1, 2, 3. The
Better
three of
than
us.
just one.
Well, you're not wrong.
I mean, it's already acting differently than when it did when they first went out there.
I think the rest of you at this point, Quinn and Wid, would probably notice, since Mavli responded when she said ow, maybe you glanced at her. And since both of you, I think, rolled 15s, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I think both of you then would have glanced at Mavli and saw that there looks like a brand on the back of her neck, maybe a tattoo that is glowing. And then when the rope goes slack, it fades back and there's just a tattoo there.
Badass.
What harmed you when Nona stepped off the path, Mavli?
Felt like a bit of a sting.
Where was it?
In this general vicinity.
I
Not
saw something.
here.
I saw something glowing there. Do you mind if I inspect that area?
Can I take a look?
Yeah. Sure. No touchy. No touchy. We're not touching.
Okay.
We're just looking.
We'd make a religion check.
Okay, enough looking.
22.
Would you recognize this as the symbol of the all shadow?
And how does Wood feel about the all shadow?
They're important questions.
You don't know.
So I recognize it, but I have no connotation for what it means.
You know that the all shadow is an evil god. Basically, the all shadow is responsible for the dark miracle, which caused an entire region of the world to become shrouded in permanent darkness and allowed races like the drow and vampires and stuff like that to live on the surface. It's generally regarded as a place that you don't want to go.
Mavli, has anything happened to you in the dark recently?
Recently? No.
Not
Well-
recently.
The dark has touched you.
Well, yeah. I work there a lot.
I mean the evil dark, the shadow dark has touched you.
Okay.
The pain that you felt, there's a mark on you. It's the mark of the All Shadow.
Wow, that was a
Interesting.
horrible text. I'm just gonna say this because I apparently can't. Can you decipher what I just texted you? Okay.
I am fluent in typo. I mean, if anything concerning happens, I will absolutely let you know. As always, trust is important.
Quinn, did you also see this?
Yeah. The glowing? The
Yeah.
tattoo
Is
itself?
is
Yeah.
is that new?
Looks new.
So it's not something that you've seen before.
Make a
No.
history check, Quinn.
Well,
Yeah, with a 12, you don't remember having seen it before, but it doesn't look new.
okay. So even though we saw the glow,
Yeah.
it looks like it's been there for a while already.
Yeah, this looks like a well-aged tattoo.
Been in the dark before. Probably be in the dark again. I mean, deal with a lot of different things when you basically are carving for religions. All of them.
You did that? You do that?
That's my job.
I thought your job was just like other art stuff.
I do, yeah, art stuff. Yeah. Some pays much better than others. This is kind of like pro bono work down here in Ilmater's Hope. It's not penance or anything. It's totally fine. Anyway, onward to the children, perhaps, apparently, with just the three of us. On the path.
Lead the way.
I am not the map person. Who had the map?
We are not using the map. We are following the path.
Following the path. Quinn, you are a great path person, or the nature person, since we're in a forest and you normally hang out in forests.
The path is clear.
Great, then I will follow you.
I would like to go last, please.
I don't want to be in front of you. Maybe we can walk beside each other.
We could do that weird leg thing where you put the leg over the other leg when you walk together.
That'll be too much time.
Yeah.
Maybe just the arms.
Yeah. Or not even that. Togetherness is great. Is the rope still slack, Ellie?
The rope is indeed slack.
Yeah, I will pull it back until we get the end.
Is it like cut, or does it come all the way to the end?
Yeah, you reel the rope back and the rope is all still there. There's just no Ellie.
Is it still like tied in a loop?
Yep.
Oh God.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, has anyone else ever seen anything like that before?
This is new territory for me.
I have never met a person eating fog.
I don't know anybody who eats fog either.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Wid, I'm not gonna lie. I am uncomfortable in so many ways. And I'm sure you're doing great.
I think you're speaking for all of us, Mavly.
Okay, everything's fine. I mean, we're just gonna charge forward, leaving people from the village, in the fog. The people eating fog, not the fog eating people. Shit, now I don't even know how to talk. About this time, either Sister Caverns Fall or Ellie would be all like, hey, I'm a channel divinity, whatever that means. And then they would have words of wisdom. Wid, do you do anything like that to make everybody feel better? Or at least a little less suspicious? Because so far I've seen you talk to swords and stare at maps and talk to like possibly dead birds in a strange cage.
I have wisdom, but not a direct line to anyone that speaks to me.
Crap.
I can see if my friend knows anything. But my
Well,
friend is shy.
I'm gonna poke the tattoo.
No touching.
I know, but that's just that just made me want to just poke it more.
Do you want to
Yep.
lick it? Okay, then no touching.
Maybe later. Licking and touching is different.
You're not wrong.
I mean, Mavly, how do you feel about that mark on you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Did you
mine.
ask for it?
That's just an excellent question.
Thank you.
In a manner of speaking, probably. There's a lot of marks on people that we ask for that we don't ask for. And she kind of rubs on a scar on her cheek.
I understand that you don't want to tell us more, but you seem to know more. So if there's anything that would help us with our safety, I think that Quinn and I would both appreciate knowing.
I have absolutely no idea what would help with safety other than, maybe numbers. How are we
you
going to
still-
get 13 children out of here with just 3 of us?
How are we going to do it with 0? We don't know what happened to the others. At least now we have a path and we have footprints to follow.
That's factual. Well, she makes sense. What do you think, Quinn?
Been really strange since we jumped in that gate and ran away from Nona. And I don't know if I like it.
Well, I've felt real strange since we crossed the very first gate that was held closed by roots.
We are well beyond that.
Mavly, you hear, and nobody else hears this. Only Mavly hears this. You hear coming from the woods, you hear a voice.
Of course I do.
It's like a haunting whispered voice, and it
Of
says,
course it is.
and it says,
What? What do you want from me, Quinn? What do you want from me? What?
You also hear a faint sound of, how to describe it? It's like crunching glass.
Is it behind me?
It seems to be coming faintly from all around you. Kind of the same as the source of the voice. Kind of just coming from the woods.
I was raised with a certain expectation, not touching without asking. I mean, that even counts for like bedtime hugs. I was also raised that magic is probably, for only holy people, which I clearly am not.
Eventually the voice gets louder and louder, almost to the point where it sounds like it's shouting. At this point, Wid and Quinn, very faintly, you hear.
I also think that we've been surrounded by a lot of magical stuff for a very long time, like days and days. And the fact that I've been holding it together this long.
And then Quinn, in your mind, you hear. And you
Would
hear,
like to cast a spell.
okay.
She would like to cast Entangle on Mavli.
Okay. That is, I believe, a saving throw.
Yes, strength.
I
13.
don't think that would be probably not. Hold on. I lost my window. Hold on a second. Good Lord, did I close it? I think I did. Hold on, I have to reopen my character sheet. Oh no, I just minimized it. I'm smart. Is that the saving throw, I hope? Yes.
Yep.
18.
Okay. You feel, as you see Wid cast a spell, you feel vines sprouting up from the ground and starting to wrap around you, but you're able to like pull your legs out.
Okay, something's yelling at me. Now the ground's trying to eat me. Okay, we'll go.
Ground was me. I didn't want you to follow the voice.
What?
I heard the voice too, Mavli. I called your name.
Wid, you also hear it whispering your name.
And now it's calling my name.
Maybe we shouldn't be in a magical realm. Okay, you're right. Get the kids, get out. How far can they possibly be?
Let's go.
Ah. Okay, so what do you think is in the fog that eats people? That knows my name?
I don't wish to imagine such a creature.
Maybe we should stop using names. You can be like Brown Bear, and you can be like Little Fierce. And I can be disturbingly disturbed. I'm like, DD, get in the laboratory. We'll be fine.
All right,
Everything
DD, let's go.
Okay, we will go. Oh no, wait, that's Dexter. Okay.
Okay, so the three of you continue walking. Is that what's happening?
I believe so.
I'm not gonna go first though, and I don't really want to be in front of somebody that can make the ground. If you do that so often, that's why people don't want you in town. It's just weird. That's not socially acceptable at this time.
I would not know what is socially acceptable, Mavli.
That's because you don't come to town.
I am not allowed in town, Mavli.
That's because
Do you think I choose my life? Do you think I choose this path?
Yeah, I think probably
No,
you seem like
no.
somebody that tends to do what they want to.
Society abandoned me, and this was my option.
Well, society sucks. I can guarantee that. Are we walking in a line?
We can walk in a line.
Talking.
I feel we don't need to dig graves for anybody since there's no bodies, right?
Yep, I suppose you're right. That's a good point. There are no bodies. There are ours. You're not going to hurt me, right?
I think you do that yourself, okay?
Use?
I mean, sometimes your
We're not
thoughts are
getting
really
into this
dark.
right.
What?
Let's talk about your tattoo some more.
Which one?
Wid gets out her mead and drinks from the jug and passes it to whoever is next to her.
It's gonna be a long walk, isn't it?
Okay, continuing the walk then.
Yep, we're gonna follow the path.
Awesome. Meanwhile, the rest of the party now found themselves back at the white leafless tree. Off in the distance, you see the hanging corpse of a gnome, including Nona.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh.
you appear. So, okay. So initially, the three of you find yourselves back at the tree. Edie, I rolled death saves for you. You are stable.
Thank you.
About 2 minutes, 3 minutes pass.
Well,
and
wouldn't they start moving before then?
That's up to you.
Okay. Well, I say as soon as they showed up there, Suri would look around, realize where they are, and turn to Leah and say, we'll go this way. We walked backwards too far, I think.
So Edie's stable, and no, that means she's no longer at 0 HP, correct?
She is, however, unconscious at this point.
So one of us would have to carry her.
She is at 1 HP and unconscious.
Okay.
And
Lee,
will continue to be so for 4 hours
Lee
until she receives magical healing.
doesn't even hear Sudi and is looking at Edie, and also is there any sign at all of the creature? It's just completely gone. That
Edie's wounds are still there.
Well, the
You
creature
actually
completely left.
Actually, you don't remember a creature. You have no memory of a creature.
Suri neither?
Nope.
Okay, so
You remember
Would-
leaving the path?
Would
And
she
then
have
finding-
a feeling that Ferrati was involved somehow? Because that's the impression she got when she saw the spider.
You remember leaving the path, and then you were here, and you see Edie unconscious, bleeding with wounds.
Would
And
Suri have any feeling about why they would be there?
you see blood on your weapon.
Relating to the spider, because the spider impacted her when she saw
You
it.
see blood on your weapons.
Okay, that's all.
Both Sudi and Lee.
and you said there's a gnome on the tree and it's Nona, or there's a different gnome, or there's two gnomes?
It's the gnome that you saw before.
Okay, so Nona is not in her scene at all?
Nona is not here yet. No.
Okay. Then yeah, as long as Lee, well, yeah, I guess without any signs of a creature, she's just
You don't remember the creature at all. You see that Edie has wounds on her. You see that there is blood on your sword and Sudi's sword.
Well, as
Sudi's
Sudi
blade.
sees that Lee is occupied with Edie's well-being, she too looks at Edie, notices the wounds, and she becomes alarmed when she makes a connection to that and the weapons. So she sniffs the weapons to see whether she can tell whether it's Edie's blood on them.
Make a perception check at disadvantage.
Okay. Four.
Smells like blood.
Sudi drops her weapon in alarm.
Lee is alarmed and checking in on Edie, saying, Edie, 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 and she doesn't quite shake Edie, but she's a little like nudging a bit anxiously.
Mhm. Edie's wounds look as if they have been inflicted by a naginata and a sword.
What is a naginata again?
That is the weapon that Sudi carries.
It's kind of like a what's a samurai sword called?
Katana.
Yeah, a katana on the end of a stick. It functions like a glaive.
Oh, okay.
Lee is alarmed at seeing the wounds and not remembering where they came from. And she is kind of trembling while calling Edie's name and kind of checking in on her and not really responding to the fact that Edie's not saying anything.
Lee's sword, though, is the talking sword.
That's
So she could ask it whether it did these wounds.
Lee would not be thinking of the sword in this moment if you had not been saying anything about it.
So
Unless
he
the
didn't
sword is
respond
talking.
either.
Which I assume it wouldn't unprompted with the situation. After kind of shaking Edie a little bit, Lee looks up at Sudi and says, "We did this? Did we did this? What happened?"
Sudi looks about her frantically. She has no answer.
Lee has a look of shock on her face and just is taken aback and doesn't know what to do. Actually, yeah, she's gonna take out her healer's kit, and I know that this is not really a thing at the moment, but even though Edie is stabilized, she's gonna go through the motions of trying to use the healer's kit anyway. And do you want that to use up a use?
Yes, that will use up a use. You can roll your medicine to allow Edie to regain 1d4 HP.
Okay, I got a 15 on the medicine check.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a d4, and that's how much HP Edie will recover. And this is non-magical healing. So unfortunately, Edie, you're still unconscious.
1.
Okay, 1 HP. So you're at 2. As Lee is doing this, binding Edie's wounds, Nona, you're in the fog. You feel the rope taut around your waist. The fog becomes so thick as you go deeper and deeper into the forest that you lose
blind sight, just as a reminder.
Right, you lose all normal vision. As you continue, you feel the tension from the rope slacken. You look down to find that the rope is no longer around your waist. When you look up, the fog begins to dissipate. You see 3 figures, one of which lying on the ground in a pool of blood.
Running over there.
As the fog dissipates further, you notice this is Sudi and Lee kneeling over the unconscious, bleeding body of Edie. Both Sudi and Lee's weapons are covered in blood.
Wait a minute.
Oh, great.
Or Sudi and Lee's weapons.
Yeah.
Did I say Edie?
They all rhyme.
Yeah.
When Nona approaches, Sudi jumps up and turns to her and says what's been going through her mind. There must have been some reason. Maybe she was against it. Maybe there was something on her that was evil and turned her against.
What happened?
Sudi and Lee, please make a sanity saving throw for me.
I'll also be asking this as I'm kneeling down to then administer aid.
11.
Okay. Take 5 points of stress damage.
21.
21. All right. You managed to maintain your composure at the realization that you might have done this to Edie.
And I probably had a good reason for it.
Denial is very strong.
Yeah, Lee is shaking a lot and is at a bit of loss for words. And am I still using the healer's kit, or is that time done?
So it takes about 10 minutes to use a healer's kit. So at the time when Nona appears, you are mid administration.
Oh, I think I'm proficient in that. No, I'm not. Never mind. All right. She would still kneel down to help.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like Edie's wounds were inflicted by bladed weapons. And they are mortal.
Yeah. Okay. I'm assessing. They don't look like a threat right now. Not putting my back to them, but I'm also not attacking them. I kind of she won't be saying anything else, but instead she'll just be kind of following Lee's lead and finishing bandaging things, cleaning things. Maybe that won't give her advantage on a roll or anything, but maybe it will speed up the process a little bit.
It won't speed up the process. What it will do is it will give Lee advantage on the medicine check, but she succeeded already anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very good at rolling at the right times tonight.
Oh yeah, do either Sudi or Lee look like they've been hit with a hammer?
They do not. They don't have any wounds at all that they hadn't already,
Are they
with.
particularly dirty and muddy? Or is that all gone too?
I'm sorry?
We
Are
were
they-
all falling in the ground.
Yeah, they were all up in unearthed earth. So like, are they particularly dirty and muddy? Or no?
No.
Like no more than we all are, because we're all pretty grubby.
Yeah,
at this
not that would be noteworthy.
All right. So you guys are just not going to tell me what happened?
I do not remember.
You don't remember?
I've never taken these off. And are your okay, this is one of those words that I read but don't say. How do you pronounce it? Is it manacle? Manacles?
Manacles?
Manacles? Okay. Is that something visible on you, Nona? Like, can I see it on your belt or something? Or is it like in a bag?
No, I keep it in my bag.
Okay. Leah's like starting to cry and she's shaking and she just goes like, puts her arms out at Nona and says, put those back.
Put your arms down, girl. We have bigger problems.
Put those back. And then she starts like crying. And it says it forcefully.
Nona will. I mean, if it'll make you feel better, but I'm gonna wait until you stop crying. And she'll like put a hand on you to just kind of brace yourself while she's still very concerned for Edie, and say, she's not gone yet. And she's going to give her some lay on hands. And by her, I mean Edie.
Lee's just like rolling up in a ball and also like over her backpack and pulls out the rest of the healer's kits and is just like shoving it towards Nona.
I don't know how to use these as well as you do. You're a healer too. All right? You feel like you need to make up for something, make up for it. And she's going to be giving Edie Well, actually, you know what? She's gonna do a cure wounds, not lay on hands.
Okay.
So that's her second slot. And that's going to be 7 points of healing for Edie.
All right. Edie, you rush back into consciousness.
She's gonna keep her hands on her just in case
Your
she pops up.
awareness comes back in a rush, and you're started to wake as if waking from a nightmare. And as you do so, you like lean up, and your whole body hurts from multiple fresh wounds, but you have no memory of how they got there.
Ow!
Slow down. Okay.
What happened?
No one remembers. But we're here.
Sudi leads down to her urgently. Did the silent one take your body?
I don't know. I just woke up. Last thing I remember, we just stepped off the path to find some food.
I have a feeling.
And now what? Now we're here. What happened?
I think the woods thinks that we are impatient.
The woods?
Remember that sign? It says it's a practice of patience. If
Not
we
sure.
lose our patience, then it brings us back to the beginning.
Not sure how we're supposed to have patience when we're running out of food and sleep.
That's the hard part, isn't it? And she's going to do another divine sense. This is her second one.
Okay.
Because I need to know if any one of these people are the silent one.
Okay.
And who to bash upside the head.
Okay. You do your divine sense. Strangely, something that you haven't experienced in a long time. You don't sense any particular entity. The silent one is not nearby. Not within the range of your ability.
I don't know if I like that more or less. She says out loud with no context. Right now, it seems as though we're safe from the silent one.
Sudi stands up.
Leah's cross-legged.
Do we go forward?
Well, if it weren't for your wounds, I would say we found a great way to quickly leave.
Quickly leave.
Once we have the children, we just go into the fog and we end up here. This also feels like maybe we should consider planning a rest. Looking at Edie, I don't.
Where is Quinn and
Should
Mavely?
we get back to the group
bear?
first?
They didn't follow me. I came after you with a rope around my waist, but it disappeared. They must think that we're all dead.
Then we should go find them.
I mean, how long did it take us to get to where we were before?
I don't know.
5 hours?
The rope must be where the memories are.
Maybe. But
So we have to get back. We have to try.
of course, I mean, they have to rest at some point too. I just feel like we might travel faster once you've had a rest.
If I'm alive and I'm breathing, then I'm fine. But if it would make you feel better,
I mean, we both know that's not quite true, but
Well, I think we know not to go off the path this time, I guess. I don't think being split from the group is a very good idea, but Edie does need rest. And Lee looks conflicted.
We can carry her.
Z, remind us how long it's been since we've rested, like a long rest. Maybe
Since you
7
took a
hours?
long rest, it's been, let's see, 5, 6. It's been about 12 hours.
How long do people usually stay up?
Um,
16.
yeah, generally like 16-ish.
Maybe 15. Depending on how exhausted they are.
I mean, look, you all went off the path. Something happened to you. And all I know is that the fog is probably a thing to fear. And if we're here, we're further away from that than we would be 3-4 hours back in. So
Do you think the group will follow us? What if they end up right where we are now?
I mean, knowing Wid, the little I know her, we made a deal. If I didn't come back, or if the rope went slack, which I hope it did when it disappeared, then they would move on without us.
Then perhaps if we move forward, we can catch them when they rest.
at least bridge the gap somewhat.
Z,
Nona,
is
I
there?
can keep
Oh,
walking
sorry.
for a little. Nona, I can keep walking for a little bit and try to catch up. It's really no trouble.
She just looks at you completely like she does not believe you at all.
Sudi and I could take turns carrying her.
I mean, we could all take turns carrying her.
True.
And then little dwarves.
Lee looks embarrassed.
Z, is there a defined path next to the tree? The
Yes.
hole in it?
Yes. The path clearly goes from the entrance of the tree to what you assume to be a northward direction.
Still have
What?
the footprints, the children's footprints are still visible. And
You can see your own footprints.
Yeah.
okay.
I'm super curious what would happen if I got off the path now.
Oh,
Death.
do it. Do it.
That's probably not a good idea. I feel fate smiling at me, but not in a good way. All right. We can try and bridge the gap a little bit, but in 3 hours, we have to hard stop, make a rest. Okay?
That's fair.
All right.
How do you
Okay.
tell when that is past?
You feel it in your bones.
I think we should see how far we get in 3 and see how Edie's doing. And
How
we can
far we get before Nona's bones say to stop?
Oh,
Well-
hey. Oh, sorry.
no worries. I just maybe we're almost there and think we could make it to the group. I don't know. I think really it's up to Edie, and I look over at Edie.
I can keep going. I'm fine. And you look at her, she's clearly not fine.
She's
But
not
She's
fine.
very much
You're not fine.
being stubborn.
You're being very stubborn.
I can keep going. It's totally fine.
Are you stubborn, like determined to move forward, or stubborn, like you don't need help kind of vibe? Or both?
Mix of both.
Okay.
I can make you all sleep if I need to.
Were you there when that happened last year?
No, you guys were asleep.
Lee just looks confused.
When I did channel divinity, did I feel any of the undead, the celestial presence, or the other one that I felt when I was inside the tree?
Say that again.
So when I did my last divine sense, I was inside the tree within 30 feet of the entrance. And I felt a presence of celestial, undead, and of the third thing that starts with an I.
Infernal.
Infernal.
That's correct. Yeah.
Did I feel any of that this
Okay.
time around? Because I'm basically in the same place.
Nope, nothing.
Wow. All right.
You are not basically in the same place. You are about 50 feet away from there.
Okay, but comparatively,
No,
we've
you
been
do
moving
not.
a lot.
No, you do not detect any of those things.
Weird. All right. Cool. Cool. Give me nothing. I love it.
Nothing.
Yeah, okay. I agree that it's important to try and close the gap. We'll go on for 3 more hours.
Okay. And so what remains of the team begins their journey north through the roaming forest for the second time. However, this time perhaps warned about some of the dangers that lurk mere paces off the path. I assume you're doing a forced march, trying to make extra ground.
Yeah.
Are we
Okay.
carrying Edie, or did you decline that?
Edie would probably be using her her warhammer as sort of a walking stick.
Do I
And using
actually
that
have
to
a walking
leverage.
stick? I feel like
Cool. So 3 hours of forced march, pushing yourselves harder than you've pushed yourselves previously, trying to catch up with where you think your comrades might be. At the end of 3 hours, you've pushed yourselves well beyond what would normally be the case. And I need all of those involved to make Constitution saving throws to resist exhaustion.
Mhm.
7.
21.
Okay, 21 is good.
7.
24.
20.
24 is good. 7 is bad.
20.
And what? 20?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So unfortunately, as you're marching, the one that seems to be really feeling the effects of this forced march after a long day of walking, Sudi begins to slow. The effects of this long march clearly taking its toll on her. She doesn't seem used to trekking through these dense forests like this. Maybe walking on sand dunes is more her style. She begins favoring one of her feet as blisters begin to form from wearing these shoes that she's not
Well,
used
she
to
does
wearing.
have the thick socks.
Yeah. And so Sudi takes 1 level of exhaustion. My other group, how are you guys doing?
We're moving forward in a horizontal line.
Yeah, following the trail.
Yeah. Mavly and Wid have been role playing a little bit in an individual chat.
Okay.
And Wid in particular is going to try to notice when Mavly no longer hears the whispers, and she seemed to hear them first.
Yeah. So as you're walking, you basically continue to hear the voices calling you into the forest. All 3 of you hear the voices calling your name. However, the only name that's audible to all of you is Mavly's.
Does it seem like it's getting louder? Or?
No, for Wid and Quinn, it stays fairly quiet, like just beyond that, like, did I really hear it? You know? And it never gets above that for you, for Wid or for Quinn. But for Mavly, it definitely is like very noticeable.
You know, if it was at least rhythmic,
No, it's very
it would be great,
discordant.
but it's
Yeah.
not. It keeps changing, and sometimes it's like high pitched, and sometimes it's really fast, and then that's like a little pause for like 10 or 15 seconds, and I think it'll shut the fuck up. But no.
Yeah, it's very
not.
discordant. Sometimes it's echoes, sometimes it's pleading.
It's fine. It's fine.
So I'm going to ask you a question, and the answer will determine quite a bit. How many hours are you going to continue walking along the trail?
Oh, I know that, Quinn, how are you feeling? I assume you're a little tired because you look a little droopier than you normally do.
Tired.
Quinn, I believe, already has a point of exhaustion. 2 points of exhaustion.
You gave her 2 last time, which was very mean.
Yeah.
And I know and so Wid, it's really how long and how far we go is kind of based on where you're at, because I know we had been talking as we were walking about how to handle the next rest. And it looks like we're going to basically just have rolling exhaustion. Rolling exhaustion.
Well, could you sleep with your name being called like that anyway?
As soon as it stops yelling at me.
To be clear, it's no longer yelling at you. It's not like overpowering everything else, but it is definitely at a level where it is clearly audible to Mavly.
I mean, if it was rhythmic, I could probably sleep through it.
Can the rest of us still hear it calling Mavly?
Only very faintly.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna try something. And Mavly kind of walks a little bit. She goes kind of behind. Oh, I don't know what order we're in. I assume I'm in the middle.
Yeah, that's.
I assume I'm in the middle.
I think that's a fair assumption.
Drift back a little bit. Don't freak out. I'm gonna touch Wid, okay? And she puts her hand on her shoulder and then she kind of walks towards the edge of the path a little bit, very slowly. Does it get louder?
It does not.
Okay, Quinn, can I touch your person?
Sure.
Gently.
As you lean towards Quinn, it doesn't change.
Okay, I'm gonna lean really, really, really close to Quinn. Like bend way down. And I'm gonna say, do you seek him? And then I'm gonna stand back up and go back to the middle. And I'm gonna keep walking. Okay, so the voices didn't get louder no matter which way I went.
Yeah. As you approach
Was that
the
good?
edge, as you approach the edge of the trail, you notice that it did get a little bit louder.
They got louder towards the edge. Okay, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta confess. When I lean a certain way, it gets louder. So if you're hearing it in your heads, if you come towards the middle, does it get quieter for you?
I only hear your name at a whisper now. So.
Oh, you also hear your own name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mostly hear your name, but at a whisper, Mavly.
Super helpful. It's not that great of a name that it needs to be said this many times. And nothing personal, but if you did want to kind of lean towards the middle to see if your name got any quieter, I would prefer not to be in front of you just because you did the grabby thing with the...
I don't need to be behind you
That's
to do that.
probably information I didn't need, but thank you, I guess. Now I can just be scared all the time.
Hey, Mavly, how come you asked me that?
Because you were asking people earlier.
Ask you what?
She asked me, do I seek him?
See, because if we are trying to be that, then maybe we can find the children faster. And then we can get the hell out of here.
Is what I've been saying all along.
Well, I don't know why I doubted you.
I don't know why you're supporting me now.
Quinn! You had my back when you came through the gate, which made me think that I should have your back all the time anyway.
It sounds like we have some things to discuss. Why don't we stop for a bit?
See, now I feel like I have two moms.
You're welcome.
Okay, so you guys are gonna stop?
I don't think we should stop, but we could stop. Should we eat? I
think that's a good plan.
So long rest? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. Wid will offer to stay awake if the two of you need to nap. You do not get a full night's sleep.
I could definitely use a rest.
I can play drums like a little handpan. I have one in my bag.
It's very helpful. Help us sleep.
Maybe it'll make the voices shut the hell up.
I have a bell.
You have a what?
A bell.
Should we ring it? I have a lantern.
That is why I didn't tell you sooner.
So many celestials are getting their wings.
So I'm sure everything is fine and we're going to make it through this without a problem. And they didn't need 14 children. They needed 13 children to call forth the nameless one. And did they actually need kids or do they need adults? Did they count on us following them? Are we even like, what was Nona thinking?
Is your neck itchy?
My neck is always itchy.
I don't know that it would do much good, but I could try to burn that mark off you with acid.
No, we're okay. Nope, definitely not that. 11 out of 12 times. No, just,
I could heal you after.
No. Nope. We are okay without the. Oh, maybe we should just keep walking because I am.
Mavely, I asked you. I didn't just do it. So I want you to
just
take that
doing
into
it?
consideration.
You
No.
considered just doing it.
No, I'm
Oh,
saying that I
well.
could, but I am not.
Do you see how that might not be helpful? Okay, so, well, sleeping's out. Okay.
She's not Nona. You'll be fine.
I think if you guys happen to have ever glanced closer, it does look like burns on her face. So no, I don't I am okay without that happening, or people talking about burning people or potentially burning people when they think it's, look, this tattoo was given to me a long time ago. It's mine. It's part of me.
Does it normally glow?
Normally, no. But it's been a long 220 years, so occasionally stuff happens.
I thought that it was a burden on you. If this is a burden that you have carried for some time, you are most likely used to it. But we are not used to it yet.
You didn't have
there
that before.
A class that people take to get the matronly vibe?
Queen, you actually don't remember whether she had it before or not. You don't recall having seen it before, but you can't be sure.
So, like, I will keep in mind that you can remove things from my person violently if need be, and you can help afterwards, which is great. That is definitely good. Yes.
It was an offer, not a threat. I would like to make that clear.
We haven't known each other long, so I appreciate the clarity. But even people that I have known for quite some time are acting a little different here. And maybe we're not exactly who we all thought we were in the long run. And that just makes things really hard. But I have very comfortable socks, and I appreciate that.
You speak all of the truths.
I generally try to, because I'm really bad at lying.
That is good to know.
Unless that's a lie.
Have you ever heard that riddle about where people come up to two doors and one of them says, I always tell lies, and the other one says, I always tell truths? Do you know what? I never remember the answer to that riddle. And what happens if there is a lie door and a truth door somewhere in this wicked place?
You approach two doors.
You fall asleep, you wake up, there are two doors. And I'm just throwing it out there, and I am not saying that Cole is any kind of reasonable human being whatsoever, but what if a do-over is not so bad?
A what?
What do you mean do-over? I do not know much of this Cole person.
He was kind of on team Wake Up the Nameless One, who apparently has kind of a scorched earth policy and basically a restart. And if people are assholes to you, and I've seen people be assholes to Quinn, who is probably the sweetest creature on the face of the whole planet, except for the scary thing that she does sometimes with the stabby stab. Little people are just violent sometimes. But anyway, and I have dealt with some stuff, and there are a lot of people who have an awful lot of prejudices. There's a lot of people who are racist and speciesist. So, and there are people who take kids. Maybe the other gods have been doing it wrong. I'm just saying their thoughts.
They're your thoughts?
Sometimes it's been a long 220 some odd years. I've carved an awful lot of faces in an awful lot of places.
If you feel that way, I still think that we should see this to the end. Because what you're proposing means that those 13 children will die. And if you want that to happen, then you need to watch it.
Well, I'm not necessarily saying the 13 children need to die. Who says that it had to be 13 kids?
We know them to be needed as sacrifices. That's what the walls told us.
All 13? Or just blood?
Well, I guess we will find out.
It's possible. Or maybe we won't. Maybe it'll all be fine.
Probably it will be.
None of us will ever be the same, but I hope that the world can be.
Should it be, though? I'm just asking.
It has not treated me kindly, and it is still better than in here.
Extra magic is not good.
This is not the magic that is dear to me.
I feel like there's a pun there somewhere, since you're doing that whole live alone thing in the woods, and you talk to bats.
And I could be a
sometimes.
deer.
You can be a deer. Are you even a person? I don't ask that in the worst way. This is a lot. I'm gonna drum a bit. It's soothing. And then I give it a little bit, and then I'm gonna have a snack. And I will share my snack with Quinn. I don't know if non-people or quasi-people need to eat. Do you need a snack?
Wid will take out a ration.
Okay, so are you guys then setting down for a long rest?
I
know
think
I
so.
asked that before,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it was super clear.
If we are able to, I think that we should try.
You are certainly welcome to try.
Why you gotta phrase
Okay.
it like that?
Wid will take
complicated.
out her yarn and will make rhythmic noises as she darns.
Okay, great. My other group, hello. I hope you're
Hello.
doing well.
Hello.
Feeling a little exhausted right now.
You're a little exhausted. Would you like to keep going?
Sounds like the Netflix when we
Of course we do. 3 episodes is never enough.
Are you
We're still
We're
watching.
binging.
We're gonna binge on exhaustion.
When we go hard.
No, but we said we were going to take a. We said we were going to rest after.
When your bones
3.
decide it's been 3 hours.
My bones have said,
So also a long rest?
Yeah.
yeah, unless people want to fight me on it, in which I will have a discussion. But
Well, Lee's the only one up for fighting at the moment.
she'll take first watch.
guys. Yeah, I would take first watch.
Awesome. Both groups taking a long rest.
I myself.
Okay, so in terms of first watch,
And then we're just taking all the watches, right?
That's the plan.
Jesus.
all right, group 1. So the group that is far ahead, who is taking first watch, please?
Wid.
Oh yeah, I'm taking all of the watches. I'm not going to be resting.
Oh, awesome. I love it. For no particular reason.
Well, because they didn't sleep the night before, really.
Rolling exhaustion. We're taking rolling exhaustion.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
we will
two.
just rest more frequently. That's if
Yeah,
everyone
group 2.
agrees.
Who is taking first watch?
Lee.
Lee
Um,
is taking first watch.
I feel like Nona should take first watch.
Will you argue with Lee about it?
I mean, unless we wanted to do like a dual watch, but I don't think we have enough people for that.
No.
Did you have a reason why you wanted to do first watch?
No, just I'm mentally tired but physically fine, so Lee would volunteer.
All right.
Is indifferent.
You have just enough to make it complicated.
I
Would
guess you can. You do you mind if I take first watch?
Lee, really indifferent. Lee would be
Okay.
different. She'd
Okay.
definitely volunteer for second though, and
Okay.
not want you to take 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I could take a third if y'all want.
And then Sudi can take
Yeah.
last watch.
Lee
There's
would be
4
like,
people and 4 watches.
Yeah. All right. Well,
yeah. Well,
we'll see what happens.
fine actually.
I'm Nona's very dubious about the health of Edie right now.
We'll see how it goes.
Like, you
Okay,
shouldn't be
so
taking a
Lee
watch.
on the first watch, yeah?
I think it's Nona.
No, Nona on the first watch.
Sorry, Nona.
Sorry, we changed it on you.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track.
Deal with that later. It's fine.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Wid. I
Yeah.
need you to make a few rolls for me.
Okay.
For the first part of the watch, I need you to make a Constitution save in order to stay awake.
It's a 6.
I love it. Okay, Nona, same roll.
16 plus 1, so 17.
17. And you have been awake. Okay, yep, you're good. Now please make a sanity saving throw, Nona.
That's a 13.
Cool. Cool, cool, cool.
Cool, 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 cool.
let's do.
Sound like you're picking out some food to get in a restaurant right now.
Let's do group 1. If I can get this to work. Okay. Quinn.
Yep.
Your dreams are violent.
What's new?
It's a weird sort of deja vu. You can't entirely recognize these memories as your own, but surely enough, you witness your own hands torturing the misshapen body of a gnome, carving its legs off with your dagger, sawing through them as he struggles at the ropes he's suspended by, unable to rasp out a scream. You crudely pull your edged dagger and carve chunks of flesh off his legs, taking the occasional bite and chewing on it. Using faint words in Celestial and a power that now seems foreign to you, healing magic, to keep him conscious until finally you've had your fill. Both legs removed, one eye plucked from its disgusting socket. You stab a letter written on the flesh of his legs into his chest using your spare dagger. You smile, knowing that the blade is cursed, knowing that this place is cursed, and that he will never truly find peace so long as the dagger remains firmly in his chest. Your dreams show you memories of what you think might be deja vu, whereby you can plainly see your hands torturing people, children, elderly, adults, all races, including a giant at one point. The knife in your hands is always the same, eternally covered in fresh blood. The fresh blood of the innocent. The pattern it cuts into the flesh of the innocent, a mixture of infernal and imagery. A phrase repeats over and over in your mind. Do you seek him? And as you grin, face covered in flecks of blood and muscle, breathing heavily, as you look over your work, you think that you just might, that is, seek him.
Okay.
Mavli. You awaken in a room.
What kind of room?
You look around you and you see that there are hundreds of small dolls, porcelain dolls. In the center of the room is a cauldron. On the side of the cauldron drapes a note.
I will.
There is there is a door leading out of the room. As you pick up the note and read it, written there on the note in what looks like red ink, it says, "Drink up. The key is at the bottom. Don't cheat."
Okay. Gonna turn around and check the door.
The door is locked.
Of course the door is locked. I'm gonna pinch myself.
It feels like you've been pinched.
God damn it. This never works. Have a bad dream. Just pinch yourself. It'll be fine.
You
Okay.
definitely get the impression that you are awake.
Sleeping in a magic place is always for the best. All right, I'm going to look at the dolls. I'm going to walk up and I'm going to take one that looks like Nona. Is there a doll that looks like Nona?
They look like children. The
Is
dolls.
there one that looks like a little dwarf? Dwarf?
Most of the dolls look like elven children.
Oh, crap. Now it's just somehow worse. Okay, most of the dolls. Are there dolls that don't look like elven children?
Some of the dolls are nondescript.
Okay, well, I will take a do any dolls stand out at all?
Not particularly, no.
Okay, I will grab a random doll and I will, does it feels like a doll? Looks like a doll? Porcelain doll?
Porcelain doll.
Okay, we're gonna go over and we're gonna look in the cauldron, and I guess it's red, huh?
The drink smells foul.
Yeah.
There are small square chunks of an unknown meat and an unhealthy, thick, gritty texture.
I'm gonna dip the doll's hand in it.
Okay, it gets wet.
Is it? What's it like?
It tastes pretty foul.
Oh God! Can I tell if it's gonna hurt me or not? Does it taste poisonous or just gross? Like, is it acidic? Is it tangy? Is it just gross?
It doesn't immediately burn your tongue, if that's what
great.
you're asking.
Yeah, 11 out of 10 don't want to die. Okay. You know what? I'm also I'm over it.
There is a single rusted ladle hanging from the side of the cauldron.
It's rusted. Why wouldn't it be rusted? I'm gonna pick up the ladle and throw it at the door.
The ladle clangs against the door and then scatters
rattle.
on the floor.
Of course it does. And there's no lock or anything. There's a lock, right?
The door is locked. There is a hole for a key.
I am not proficient at lock picking, but can I don't have a lock pick set. Fuck, never mind. I'm gonna kick the door. Can I kick the door?
You kick the door and it gives a resounding thud, that which you recognize as being that of a very sturdy door.
Son of a biscuit. You know, do I hear the whispers?
You do not hear the whispers.
I'm gonna hug the doll real tight and I'm gonna lay down and go to sleep.
Okay. As Mavli lays down with the doll, you hear the chittering of sound and movement start around you.
I'm gonna sit up. All of you cannot do this.
And you sit up and you look around and you see that the doll's eyes have begun to glow red.
Fine. You're all jerks. I'm gonna look at the one I was holding. Why though? Why?
And the one that you're holding tilts its head up at you, and you see its eyes, beady in its porcelain head, glow red.
I'm gonna kiss its forehead. Me too, little dude. I don't wanna. Do you get really, really mad if I don't? If I just sit here? I mean, do you just like have a laser light show? Or are you guys actually gonna? I don't want to like. I've seen this movie. I don't wanna. Okay. If I try, oh, I don't know if that even. I'm gonna try to cool off some of the stuff and maybe make it like icy.
It's kind of like lukewarm.
Yeah, can I use prestidigitation to cool it off more?
Sure, yeah.
Does it get any like, does it change at all otherwise?
No.
Okay. Can I dump over the cauldron? I know it said no cheating. If it's gonna be bad, licking it off the floor is one thing. What the hell's the difference at this point?
Would you like to?
Sure, Z. I don't want to drink it. I really don't want to drink it. I've already had a bad day.
Okay.
Actually, wait, before I dump it over, I'm gonna grab one of the meaty bits. I'm gonna sniff it and I'm gonna bite it. How bad is it?
It doesn't taste like any meat that you've had before.
I'm gonna look at the doll and I'm gonna go, is this person?
The doll does not respond.
Look at the other dolls. Is this person?
They don't respond.
If I eat this, will I wind up being one of you? I don't. Was I told a bad story like this as a small child?
Probably not.
It's okay. Yeah, no, I'm gonna dump it over.
Okay. Mavly dumps over the cauldron. As the contents spill over the floor, there within the mixture lies the key.
Gonna look at the doll and I'm gonna go, I probably shouldn't touch it. So we're gonna sit here and we're gonna cast a spell, kids. We're gonna cast Unseen Servant and we're gonna have it pick up the key.
As the unseen servant picks up the key, it begins to float.
Does anything happen? I'm looking at the dolls.
Not yet.
Could have had the servant drink the stuff.
It can't. It's not like that, unfortunately. Okay. Okay, we're gonna have it put down the thing and oh, okay. Hold my hair back. Here we go. I'm gonna like put my hands in it. I'm gonna lick it, and then I'm gonna touch the key. Does anything happen if I touch the key? No, we're good.
Nothing happens.
Okay, I'm gonna get some dolls, and I'm gonna put like the dolls in the gloop on the floor.
Okay.
So if the gloop moves and the dolls move, everything's fine. I'm probably making it worse. And then I'm gonna like try to use their clothes to soak up the gloop, and then I'm gonna scoop them under the cauldron and put the cauldron on top. And then I'm gonna go to the door with the key.
Okay. There are a lot of dolls, by the way.
Yeah, I figured that not all of them will be necessary. If I'm gonna go, it's gonna be bad, guys.
Yeah.
I'll miss you all.
As Mavly reaches towards the keyhole with the key, she hears motion behind her. She looks back, and you see hundreds of dolls clambering quickly towards you, brandishing sharp shards of glass and other razor sharp implements as they rush towards Mavly. She rushes, pushes the key into the lock, tries to turn the lock. pulls open the door, and as she does so, hundreds of these dolls wielding razor sharp instruments claw at her leg, digging deep, crawling higher up her body, shredding flesh from bone, and slowly Mavli screaming into the emptiness as she's shredded to death. And then Mavli wakes up in a room, and you see a note
Oh, for God's sake.
beside a cauldron that says, "He is in the cauldron, drink up, don't cheat, or else."
I look at my legs. Do I have like scars or anything?
You are bleeding.
Wonderful. Can I have a few to talk about it or think about it and you go somewhere else?
No.
Fuck Z. I don't wanna. I'm gonna look at the stupid little dolls. And all of you are elves except a couple. That's
The
great.
dolls are sitting back in the same spot as where they were initially.
I'm gonna go get the same doll I had before.
Mhm.
I'm gonna tuck it under my arm and I'm gonna go, we're gonna do this together. Asshole. And I'm gonna get the ladle and I'm gonna pour one over the doll and then I'm gonna drink one.
Okay.
And we'll do that for a very long time.
One for the doll, one for you, one for the doll, one for you. Okay. Okay.
And we're not gonna
As-
touch the key until it's empty.
As you drink the soup, you go through, there's some stringy bits, there are some meaty bits, it's foul. Please give me a Constitution saving throw at advantage because you are a dwarf.
Thank goodness. Oh, I can do it. How do I do advantage on this?
Roll twice.
I think you right click and select advantage.
Oh, sorry. I will just roll twice because I did once and I did right click. Oh, perfect. 7.
Okay.
How do you right click with?
Hey, Mavli,
I'm on an iPad. How do you right click on an iPad?
Your maximum hit points is reduced by 6 for
Wonderful.
12 hours.
Oh, sad day.
And you are poisoned. However, as you continue eating the substance, eventually you get to the bottom or close to the bottom, and there is one round spherical object. It looks like it's probably an eye.
You're kidding me, right? Does it look familiar?
The color of the eye resembles that of Sister Cavern's Fall.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Why though? I'm gonna look at the dolls. What is wrong with y'all? Why? I just don't. Do you think I could swallow it whole?
It's kind of squishy in your hand.
Oh. You know, I just. Okay, you and I, we can never tell anybody about this because that bear person won't ever leave me alone again, and Nona would just have feelings. We can't have Nona having feelings because when Nona has feelings, bad shit happens. Okay. Are you ready? Me too. Here we go. Okay. And she's just gonna like Jello shot it.
Yeah, and as you bite down,
there's no biting in Jello shots.
Oh, you have to. It's too big to just swallow.
You have not been a female. It's an eyeball. I can do this.
Okay. And you swallow down the eyeball, and then down remaining at the bottom of the cauldron, you see the key.
Okay, I'm pretty sure this is just a really shitty dream, but if you don't come with me, we're gonna have a problem. Actually, never mind, because I couldn't explain that, and then Nona would have more feelings. We're gonna get the key though. Okay, let's try it. And if we have to do this all again and I don't share, I don't know. I might just, I don't know. I might off myself at that point. Just hang out in the cauldron with all the goop until I just breathe it all in. It'll be fine. Okay, I'm gonna go open the door, Z.
You put the key in the lock, you turn the lock, the door opens into the woods.
Well, this is a step in the right direction. I'm gonna tuck the dolly in my vest.
You now have a phobia of eating things that you do not know what they are.
Yeah, well, I probably had that before.
Or eating anything that somebody else gives you.
Totally fine. Yep. I might even be a vegan from this point forward.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, I'm in the woods. Is it like am I waking up around everybody else, or
You
am I
don't
like
see anybody nearby.
Ooh, okay, I'm gonna kind of take a couple of steps forward. Hello? Do I hear the whispering in my head?
You do not. But as you take a few steps forward, you notice off in the distance 5 figures.
Do they look familiar?
Hi.
Too far away to tell.
Okay. Hello? I don't really want to yell too loud. Okay, it's on their head on the path, right? I gotta stay on the path.
And at that point, we're going to go to Wid.
Thank God. Okay, I'm good.
Oh, Wid, who fell asleep on watch.
Hooray.
Okay.
Never want to hear shit about it again.
Amen, sister.
Wid, you're diligently standing watch. You hear off in the distance the soft bat, bat that is all too familiar to you. And as you look in the direction, you notice the very familiar white woolly locks of your friend, your best friend, casually wandering through the night towards you. As you watch, this sheep approaches and kind of nudges you with its head in the welcome gesture that you've come all too familiar with over the years.
I will pet it. I would do what she would normally do.
You pet the sheep and it like nibbles some grass out of your hand. It's very comforting. And then the sheep wanders off once again into the woods, stops, glances back at you as if expecting you to follow.
I mean, does Wood have a choice here?
That's up to you.
Where's my sanity at? Where's Wood's sanity at? Everywhere. If I could have a general guide.
57.
She's gonna roll for insight, if that's okay with you,
Sure.
because she's not going to trust this.
Okay.
It's a 12.
Seems real.
Quid will like click to have it come back to her, which would be a normal sign that she would perform.
Yeah. The sheep takes a few steps towards you and then looks back out in the woods kind of longingly, takes another step towards you and then turns around, takes a few steps back out to the woods and then looks back at you and does a bah.
She'll try clicking again, and she's visibly emotional.
Mhm. Once again, the sheep takes a step forward, kind of bows its head down, shakes its head a little bit, looks back out in the woods, and then takes 2 steps back.
Can't do it. I can't go with you. You can stay here, but I can't go with you.
The sheep kind of stamps its front hooves a little bit
Oh, don't do that. You know I can't.
and then says, bah, bah, takes 2 steps back.
You know I can't. There's more important things at stake. Even if you're
And
real.
as you say that, the sheep turns away from you and walks into the darkness.
Wid weeps.
As Wid weeps at the seeming betrayal of her friend, you look around and you notice that you're alone. You've been not only abandoned by your best friend, but your companions seem to have left you in the night.
Gotta stay on the path. I've gotta stay on the path. It's the only way this works.
As you wake from your dream, you look around, relieved, realizing that it was only a dream. Only to find that Mavli is gone.
But Quinn is still there.
Quinn is still there.
Does Wid have any sense of how much time has passed?
You do not.
Does she feel remotely rested?
You feel a little bit rested. It definitely has been some time, like hours.
Can she see any tracks from where Mavli was laying?
You see, make a survival check.
That's a 12.
You see the place where Mavli's sleep happened, where it occurred. Her bedroll is still there, just no Mavly.
She'll wake up Quinn.
Okay.
She won't shake you, but Quinn, something's happened. Mavly's gone.
I wake up. Wiping my mouth from the dream I just had. That was yummy. What do you mean? Where's Mavly?
She's disappeared.
I thought you were on watch.
I thought so too.
Okay. You still want to keep moving forward?
I don't see tracks anywhere. I don't know where she could have went. I think something took her.
Let me take a look.
All right. Make a
Do
survival.
I see anything? What's up?
Make a survival check.
Mhm. I get a 9.
Yeah, same as I told Kess.
Oh. Do I feel rested at all?
You do not.
Okay. What do you want to do?
I don't know that there are any right answers anymore. You still look very tired. But I thought that I should wake you up as soon as I noticed. Could you continue to sleep?
I should. But now everybody I know is gone. I mean, no offense to you. We're here
No,
together.
it's just no offense taken. We are both new to each other. I would like to show you something. Because Quinn's a gnome, right?
Quinn is a gnome. Mhm.
So Wid digs in her backpack and takes out this caged, almost clockwork, but also organic bird. And this is Olsigi. It will only speak to me. This is a magical item, and it doesn't like being around other people. But you might notice that the way this is crafted was by your people. So I thought maybe it would make you more comfortable if I speak to it, and maybe it can tell us things. It seems to know things that it can tell me in abstract ways. But that's the way that magic always has been for me.
Okay, that sounds great. This is beautiful, by the way. Thank you for showing me.
It's super creepy. It's like a dead bird that has been had like parts of it replaced by clockwork mechanisms. It's like really bad taxidermy.
Just imagining the bird that's all taped up in Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, basically.
And I'm going to turn away from you to speak because Siggy is private.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm gonna turn too, just so our backs are together.
Siggy, can you hear me?
The little clockwork bird stirs in its cage, and you hear the small whisper, "What is your question?"
Can you tell me about this place that we're in right now?
This place is constantly changing. That which you see is not what you see.
Is the path safe?
The path is not safe.
Is the path
However,
safer?
not on the path is less safe.
Understood. Can you tell me what happened to Mavli?
Back to the beginning.
Can you tell
She
me?
is lost on the way.
Back to the beginning, but also lost?
Yes.
Can you tell me what happened to Nona, Ellie?
Back to the beginning. Lost on the way.
Is it the same for the others?
Their fortunes are not yet certain.
Did they go back to the beginning?
Back to the beginning. Lost on the way.
If they follow the path, will they find us?
The path leads to that which you seek.
Does the path that they are on lead to that which I seek?
They are on the path.
Thank you, Siggy. She'll tuck it, put it back in her bag, and turn back around.
And the little bird goes still. Quinn heard only Wid's side of that conversation.
What's your bird? Did he answer all your good questions?
The answer, yes. Not in a way that I completely understand. Everyone has gone back to the beginning and they are lost. But they are on the path. And the path leads to that which we seek.
Okay.
So I guess we have an option of, do we wait? Do we go back? Do we go forward? Do you have thoughts?
Well, if they're lost, are they gonna know? And we're like,
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear part of that.
we're 6 or more hours on the path ahead of them. I think with my exhaustion level, I am pretty useless to us in any fighting situations. So in case we did get to the kids, I couldn't do a lot. I think we should go back or wait.
All All right, and I'm gonna pause you guys there for a minute and move on to someone else. Sudi and Lee. Both of you are having this very similar dream, but I'm just going to tell it to both of you at the same time. Okay?
Okay.
You relive your day-to-day activities back at home. However, your sister or your brother, for Sudi, is absent in all of these memories. It's as if they never existed at all. The more you watch, the more you begin to feel like your previous memories might be incorrect or perhaps imperfect. They were real, right? Your sister, your brother, you think in your dream. If they were real, then why don't you have a memento of them on you? A voice responds in your mind. Your blood runs cold and you suddenly awaken, desperately searching for some proof of your family's existence. What sort of item would Lee and Sudi have as kind of a memento to their missing family member?
If I had one, it would be something carving related.
Does she have one?
I did not plan on her having one, so no.
Okay.
I didn't plan on Sudi having one either.
Okay.
Lee kind of left in a hurry and packed what was necessary and overpacked survival stuff, if anything.
Mm-hmm. Great. Yeah. So I think that this dream is especially poignant then, because you don't have anything as a physical reminder that this sibling ever existed at all. And you've begun to question whether or not they actually did exist.
In the dream or once waking up, Lee is still in that phase.
Once waking up, because of the dream, because of the way that it made you question your memories, you in your awoken state, you are still questioning that. But surely Lee has a sister, right?
So Sudi and I both wake up at the same time during the long rest?
Probably not the same time.
Well, Lee was going to take second watch, and Sudi was going to take last watch.
Yeah. You probably had a similar dream at different points during the night, and you would probably be woken up for your watch, and that's when it would happen.
Okay.
Nona, your watch goes uneventful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Wow. Oh my God. Well,
Surprise. No surprise.
Sus.
Jesus. All right. So she kind of paces around during her watch and does some stretches, some prayers with her eyes open, that sort of thing. When it's time, when her bones say it's time, then she'll go over to Lee.
Okay.
Lee, it's your turn.
And as you wake up Lee, she looks upset.
Bad dream.
Lee also looks confused and taken aback as well, and like shock like if you were in like a cold water suddenly or something.
You do notice, Lee, when you wake up, you kind of like instinctively look for something that you might have that would remind you that you weren't just imagining this. And you notice that you're missing a few things from your pack.
Anything in particular, or
Make a perception check.
okay. Where'd my window go? Okay. 7.
Yeah, you can't place exactly what it is you're missing. You don't recall taking an exact inventory of everything you bring, but you get the distinct impression that something is missing.
Lee also immediately, when waking up, she doesn't respond to Nona, and she immediately starts looking through her backpack, which is right next to her when sleeping. And she's like looking over her carving supplies and looking over the bear and other piece she had, and is kind of just staring at her pieces put out in front of her. And she's just kind of looking dumbstruck, and she's like, make up something on the spot. My deer is gone. I had a deer. Nona, I had a deer, and it's not in my bag anymore. I think it was in my bag. I'm pretty sure I had a deer, I think. Were you doing, did anything, you didn't look at my bag, did you? I feel like.
No. If you need anything, you can look through my things.
She's kind of rummaging through her bag more. And then kind of looks under her bedroll and.
Here. If we take everything out and lay it in order, then we can take inventory. And you can know exactly what you have now, so you're not worried about it later.
But I think I had
a deer.
Yes, I had a deer. It was important, and I had it, and I don't have it anymore, and I think I had it before. And
I'm sure it's somewhere.
There's.
I mean, you just woke up, so let's take stock of your own body first, and just let yourself wake up first, because you know, sometimes when I wake up, I'm still half a foot in my dreams, you know.
Lee looks a little bit upset and kind of has like this look of suspicion almost on her face, and like a kind of like offended look a little bit. And she looks at Nona and is, are you do you mind if I look at your things? I'm really confused. I know I had something.
I mean, all of our stuff was kind of mixed up at one point, I'm sure, so like it could have fallen. I don't know. Let's look.
Lee's like rummaging and kind of being a little rude and ignoring Nona a little bit, just like moving on before
Nona will help you.
Make an investigation check.
Nona will help you.
A 15.
With a 15, as you're rummaging through Nona's pack, you find a set of wood carver's tools that looks very familiar. These are your tools.
Lee kind of pulls them out, and then her offended look is just like on her face squarely, and she doesn't do anything, but clearly looks upset. and kind of looks over to Nona and says, "But my deer, I definitely had a deer."
I look in my own pockets. Can I investigate my own pockets?
What are you looking for?
The deer. Anything that's
Sure.
not mine.
Sure, make an investigation check.
All right. That's a 12 on the die. Plus 1. 13.
There's no deer. There's no deer in your pockets.
All right. Is there anything else that's not mine?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I'm sorry your stuff was in my bag. I didn't put it there on purpose.
Lee kind of hurriedly nods and says, "If you just help me keep an eye out for my deer, please. I think that's it." She kind of goes through her bag once more and tries to take another look. I think I'm not. My bag feels lighter than before. I'm confused.
Is Nona gonna go to sleep?
Yeah, she just wants to make sure that Lee is set.
Okay.
So she's gonna tell Lee, I understand that your items are important. I have my own items that are very important. But we often see things that aren't here in these woods. So if you see your deer off of the trail, can you promise me that you won't go for it and try and get it yourself? Would you wake me up first?
I will let you know.
Because the powers here will use anything they have against us.
Yeah, I will. Yep, I'll let you know. I'm good. Yep. Sorry about that. Thank you for helping me look through and get things sorted.
If you need anything of mine, and she's like looking through her stuff, she's got so much religious stuff. We've got holy water, a steel mirror. We got oil, and we got an alms box, investments. She's like, there's a sensor. I don't even know what that is. What is this? It just says a sensor. I don't know what that is.
A sensor is like this kind of container that.
Oh, for incense.
Yeah.
Got it. She's got incense.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, I can light some incense. That tends to center my my devotion.
All right. I don't want to rush this scene, but I also don't want to leave Edie out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Lee's pretty much done. She was just a little bit curt with Nona, but not trying to be rude, but also her demeanor was a little bit rude.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No. You're good. You're
good. Edie, I didn't forget about you. You get to suffer too. You find yourself reliving the past few months of your life working on the church. However, those memories are not entirely as you remember them. You seem happier, more content. You remember the game you used to play with the village children that you think you used to play. Only you're surprised to find yourself taking advantage of travelers and pilgrims as they pass as the church is being built. You slyly pick their pockets as they stop to rest at the church. You steal away with suits of their armor at night and hide them. And then going back later, grinding off the engravings and selling them to the shopkeeper. Slowly and with strange familiarity, you watch as you patiently wait for the pilgrims and the travelers to settle during their visits to the church. You wait for them to settle in at night, light a small herb fire, and gently lower it onto the sealed copper pipe. After waiting for a few minutes, you giddily chew on a different herb and find yourself in the basement of the church, tying up the unconscious dwarves posing as pilgrims. Then a supposedly noble paladin of Torm who was dispatched to search for them. Then dozens of others who came after. You relive the thrilling moment of where you sharpen your blade in your torturer's kit, ready your thumb screws, and put everything into place for their inevitable return to consciousness. Then you see their gear in your hiding spot a few days later, after being thoroughly cleaned of any personalization. Cracks appear in your memory, though, and you're not entirely sure this was your past, or maybe it was your future. Then, just as suddenly as your dream started, you dream of nothingness.
Like nothing at all. Do I even see myself?
Nope.
Could I attempt to visualize myself? Like
Like a lucid dream.
yeah, like lucid dream style.
You become aware of the nothingness in your dream, and you can't seem to bring anything to the center of your mind to focus on it. You think of something, and immediately, as if it's a fleeting memory, it's gone. And all that remains is the emptiness.
Could I try to think of maybe one of the songs that was sung in the church?
You try to think of a popular song praising Ilmater. Was that the god you worshipped? Or was it another one? The name, you can't quite remember the words to the song. And the tune, it seems so familiar, but you can't quite recreate it in your mind.
Is there, and that there's nothing at all that I can connect with or
It's
find any sort of tether to?
It's just blackness, emptiness, nothingness. And the harder you try to fill that void, the more terrifying it becomes to you. Please make a sanity saving throw.
$18. 17 plus 1.
Yep. As the longer you remain in this nothingness, you feel it tug at your psyche. Your grip on reality. It's pulling it away from you. But Edie is stronger than whatever this is that's trying to take it away. And she holds tight to those memories that she knows that she has. And you manage to push yourself through it. Nancy, please make 2 rolls for me. A Constitution saving throw to see if you can stay awake on your watch.
11?
I love it.
I'll take that as no.
That is a no. And that is also where we will end for tonight, because this is going to lead into some interesting stuff. So I will stop the recording.